welcome back to the YouTube, Randall Branch YouTube. Today we have a good video. Don't run from your past, embrace it, and it'll fuel your future. Oftentimes we run from our past, we like to forget about our past, we like to ignore our past. And whole time, our past and remembering our past, identifying what got us to where we didn't want to be and what we need to fix going forward can be the motivation for us to use for us to make the changes that we need to make and also sustain the changes that we make. So let's not forget about our past, let's embrace it, and let's use it as fuel. I know for me personally, a lot of times when I fell off in my journey, when I made mistakes, oftentimes remembering who I was and who I wanted to not be anymore helped me stay disciplined and stay on focus and stay on task. The power and freedom that comes from remembering our past, remembering where we came from, allows us to be motivated to make changes, to sustain the changes that we make, and allows us to have stories to tell others. Running from your past also causes emotional drain. And a lot of times people on the internet, they like to talk about imposter syndrome and feeling like they don't deserve the new positions that they're in and stuff like that. But if you remember your past, you remember who you used to be, and you remember the work that you put in to get to where you are now, that imposter syndrome just goes out the window. You'll realize that you do deserve where you're at. Even if you're still working, you've put in work to get to where you're at. And oftentimes we like to use ignoring our past as like almost an avoidance tactic. Denial. But that denial is holding you back. It held me back. The cost of running from your past is inauthenticity. I'm big on authenticity, but we can't be authentic if we're not remembering who we are. And your past is part of who you are. My past is part of who I am. The mistakes I made, with people, with myself, that's part of who I am. It's part of my journey. If I don't remember it, if I don't use it to, tell my story, if I don't use it to help others, to help myself going forward, then I'm not being authentic. So when we talk about being authentic to who we are, we have to remember where we came from. We have to remember the mistakes, the journey. The journey is everything. There's a difference between being defined by your past and being informed by it. Defined by your past is where we try to take actionable steps to be better, but we still look at ourselves as that old person that we used to be. And for some reason, we just can't get into a new mindset of who we are. That's defined, but being informed by our past helps us move forward. It gives us the motivation every day to take actionable steps to being the person that we're working towards. You don't need to be defined by your past. You don't need to be defined by your past, but you do need to be informed by it. When you're informed by it, it keeps you motivated. If you're watching this and you're struggling with staying motivated or staying disciplined, remember who you are. Remember the person that you don't want to be. I look back on who I was like 6 months ago and how undisciplined I was. How I was telling myself I was going to do certain things and I wasn't doing it. The promises I made to myself that I didn't keep. And that's what motivates me to get up every day and keep the promises I make to myself and stay disciplined. Now, if I ignore who I used to be, now all of a sudden I have nothing to go back towards. Embrace your past and use it as fuel. You need fuel, man. It's a journey. You can't go on a journey without fuel. You can't get to your destination without fuel. So what fuels you? A lot of times the reason why we're not getting nowhere is because we have no fuel. You can't move without fuel. So find your fuel, and the easiest fuel to find if you're on a transformation journey, if you're looking to become a different person, is the fuel of the person that you used to be. Use that as fuel. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. The reason why we can't get nowhere is because we're ignoring where we're coming from. The reason why we're not being authentic to who we are is because we're not telling our full story. We're trying to just cut gaps and just show the good side of who we are, or the highlights. Your past, your specific struggles, they give you advantages. A lot of dudes in the gym, they have the advantage of dealing with heartbreak. I've never dealt with a heartbreak, but they have the advantage of dealing with heartbreak to keep them motivated to get the physique that they want. A lot of people in business, they have the advantage of being like dead broke, being super poor, coming from a household that wasn't able to provide and stuff like that. I don't have that advantage. I came from a good household. I don't have that advantage of using that as fuel. But dudes who are in the gym and like their woman broke up with them and did them wrong, and dudes in business who, you know, their parents couldn't afford them to buy clothes. The reason why they get so far is because they have fuel. You got to find your fuel. You have to find your fuel. And everybody's fuel is different. But my fuel and a fuel that you could use is your old self. Use that as fuel. Don't ignore it. About all the rappers that you listen to, or like the athletes that you watch, or whatever it may be, think about how they talk about their past and how that helps them stay focused. You know, their mom not having such, or their dad not being there, whatever it is, that's their past, and they use it. They use it to be exceptional. Make a personal commitment to embracing your past. Don't let it define you, but be informed by it. Don't ever not be informed by it. Make a commitment to yourself. If you need to, take a pen, take a paper, write down the person that you used to be. Write down the mistakes that you used to make. Those are the reasons why you'll wake up every day and get to it. Those are the reasons why when it's raining outside, or, you know, when it's dark outside, or, you know, it's late at night, why you still want to go out and get a good workout in. Because you remember when you were fat. Just real talk. Like, those days where you're tired and you still need to post content, or you still need to work on your business, write down that moment where you realize you didn't have the money in your bank account to get groceries. If that's your story. Everybody's story is different. Write it down. Be informed by it. Remember it. Don't let it define you, but let it inform you. You know, oftentimes difficult experiences give us insights that others don't have. I was 70, 80 pounds overweight. You know, a lot of people in our society are overweight, but that's something that I could speak on. Now, if I run from that, I'm missing out on helping others. And then honestly, it is embarrassing because I was going to the gym, you know, I thought I was healthy. I look back at old pictures of myself, I look terrible. But I don't want to run from that. I could use that to inspire others. One of my friends just hit me up this morning and said, man, I seen you posting your story, you know, getting your steps in, getting your workout in, posting your meals. I'm motivated. I'm doing my morning walk today. Shout out to him. He's watching this video. Now imagine if I try to neglect who I used to be. Imagine if, you know what I'm saying? Your past is what's going to help you and help others. You can't ignore it. You have to embrace it. This is me talking to you. This is me telling, like, you know, the reason why I'm really into this YouTube is as I'm looking at this camera, like, I'm really talking to myself. Like, I'm telling myself not to ignore my past. And I'm telling you. I'm telling myself I need to stay focused. And you know what I'm saying? I watched one of my old YouTube videos the other day, man. I wasn't down or anything, but I was kind of like, man, I don't feel like, and I watched my video of it. I might link it or whatever. I might link the video, but it's talking about how, you know, in order to be exceptional, you have to be the exception. I hit my walk and I listened to that. That's me talking. That's me talking to myself. And also the few viewers that watch that video. That's me inspiring myself and others, man. Like, this is me telling myself, man, don't ignore your past, embrace it. Let it fuel you. Those days where you don't feel like doing the work that you know needs to be done, remember the old person that you used to be. Remember how you used to be a man that didn't keep promises to himself, a weak man, a man that lacked discipline, a man that said, I'll wait till next Monday, a man that would mess up and then say, I'll wait till next week, we'll start over again. That keeps me going, guys. Like, I'm never going to be that man again. But if I act like I wasn't that man, then I would have no fuel. If you act like the person that wasn't irresponsible with money, you'd have no fuel to be responsible with money. If you try to ignore the fact that you used to procrastinate, what fuel do you have to not procrastinate anymore? So it's like, what's going to help you on those days where you don't feel like getting up and getting to it? What's going to motivate you to keep pushing? I promise you, being motivated by your past is a stronger motivation than where you want to go. I promise you. If you have a goal, if you have a set goal, whatever it may be, and you try to use the goal as motivation, that's fine. But as you're working towards the goal, use how far you used to be from the goal. Use that as motivation. That's much stronger motivation. The goal is good motivation. It really is. But it's like, man, this is the goal. I'm right here. I'm motivated by the goals. But look where I used to be. Look how far I used to be removed from the goals. That's the motivation, man. Also identify the lessons that you learned from your past. Those lessons will help you. If you're ignoring your past, how could you use those lessons to help you? I learned a lot of lessons from my past. In my past is lessons. There's no lessons without the past. So how can I ignore the past? I need to embrace it. It's information. It's not definition, but it's information. It's the information that will guide me to my future, to where I want to go. Authenticity requires wholeness. You can't be authentic if you're not telling your whole story, if you're not embracing your whole story. Authenticity requires reflection. Authenticity requires you to embrace all parts of yourself, including your difficult past. The parts of ourselves that we hide often is what's going to set us apart from others. In a world where everybody's blending in, everybody's the same, your past is what's going to set you apart. One reason why I kind of set back on, taking social media so seriously and like posting more consistently, one reason why I set that back is because I was like, I don't like what's going on with social media. Like everybody's the same and whole time, all I had to do was just be myself and just, use my authentic self-expression as a way to separate myself. I didn't have to come on here and be like everybody else and be all goofy and, doing all this corny stuff I see online. And that's not no shade at other people, but, I thought that's what you had to do if you got on social media. Like, oh, I have to be corny. I have to be. Whole time, the reason why I'm going to win with this is because I'm going to be myself and I'm going to be unique and I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to be authentic. And one thing about humans is that we can sense authenticity. You can't hide it, But in order for me to be authentic, I have to be whole. In order for me to be whole, I have to embrace my past. I have to embrace my present. And I need to embrace my future. I can't ignore my past. I'm going to post like side-by-side transformation of like when I was fat. And that's something where I'm like, man, I really don't want to do that because I look bad, guys. I look bad. I got the pictures. I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to do like the half and half, like split screens and stuff. But it's like, I have to do that. I cannot do that. That's not being authentic. Like, that was me. Like, I was walking around fat 8 months ago. But what we'll try to do is we'll try to just post who we are now and just ignore our past and just show the highlights. Like, why? Why not help somebody? Somebody's going to look at that picture and be my old self, be overweight, and look at it and be like, okay, he did it, now I can do it. Am I going to be selfish and not show that because I might be a little embarrassed? Why? Why not help others? Why not be authentic to who I am, who I was, where I'm going? Why do I need to wait until I'm in perfect condition to just start posting my physique? Why can't I show the journey? Why can't I be authentic? And I also understand that, me sharing about my past is going to create a deeper connection with my viewers, no matter how big my audience is. Even if only 5 or 6 people watch this video, I'll be able to connect with those 5 or 6 people on a better level if I'm being authentic, if I'm being genuine, if I'm not ignoring my past and acting like I have everything figured out. We judge ourselves too hard, man. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I had a script I was trying to go off of, but I'm just gonna talk, man. We judge ourselves way too hard. We're not the only ones making mistakes or have made mistakes. There's other people who've made mistakes. I used to think for a while I was being authentic, and I was, but I didn't realize that there's other levels of authenticity for me to take it to. I've never been a person who tried to act like something I wasn't. I've never struggled with not being authentic, but over these last few weeks and few months, I realized that there's other levels of authenticity for me to take it to. And that's the reason why it's part of my personal mission statement. That's the reason why I love authenticity so much. Because it's what separates us, it's what makes us unique, but it also is what brings us together. And it's like, as you continue to grow through personal growth, as you continue to grow through personal growth, I believe you just get more authentic. You get a clearer view of what life really is, of other people who are struggling, of it being okay that you don't have everything figured out, of it being okay that you made past mistakes that you might be embarrassed of, that you might not want to, confront. So what parts of your past are you ignoring? What parts of your past are you acting like didn't happen? What parts of your past can you use as fuel for your present and for your future? What parts of your past can you take and use for motivation when you need it? What parts of your past can you use to help others? What parts of your past can you use to help yourself? What parts of your past do you need to remind yourself about? What parts of your past make you unique for you to really be able to express yourself in an authentic way? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. If we're not, we're doing ourselves a disservice and we're doing others a disservice. I didn't even realize how much I cared. I always knew I liked helping others, but since I actually audited, who I used to be and how far I've grown, I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed helping others until I did that. Until I actually took inventory of my past. And I'm like, dang, I don't want anybody to ever be in the position I used to be. Thank you for watching the video. We'll be back on Monday with another video. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate your time. Like I say, I'm using authentic self-expression to help others grow. And you can use authentic self-expression to help yourself grow and help others grow. But if you want to do that, you have to take inventory of who you used to be. You have to use your past and embrace it and use it to fuel your future. Randall Branch Media, we out.